Ladies and gentlemen, now in this video, we're going to be going over the Jericho build for 7 Deadly Sins Origin. So I believe the best build for pretty much almost every team and scenario is going to be the Dual Swords version of Jericho. This just allows her very easily to achieve Elemental Burst by activating her weapon enhancement, which is going to be the E skill, and then using your Q and just spamming basic attacks. It allows Jericho to fill up the burst gauge on the opponent very quickly and get massive damage herself, but ideally the best team for Jericho is always going to be with the Meliodas, or potentially a Manny as well, but we're just going to focus on some of the more budget, starter-friendly setups today. But yeah, just something to keep in mind there. She is so good for like enabling other characters and has really good synergy with the both of those, but on her own she's a very powerful character. But I would say one very noteworthy thing about Jericho, right? If you max out all of the mastery trees, you're going to get this character to 4 out of 10. However, she is so valuable if you can get an additional copy of her, because she's going to get like 50% additional damage during Frozen Saber and double the burst gauge rate. This one is absolutely insane. It is so incredibly powerful. And then if you get the third duplicate as well, you get like 5 additional seconds on the Frozen Saber. So this just allows her to get to the burst a lot faster and then like stay in a state where she's dealing massive damage. So yeah, that's what makes Jericho really, really crazy at the absolute highest levels of the game. But even, you know, at lower levels, she is still absolutely cracked. Like, once you activate E and you've got that uptime on your Frozen Saber, and there's like a little icon just to the left of Jericho, you're just dealing so much damage, you're filling up the elemental gauge really, really quickly, and you can just achieve burst really easily. Alright, so now we've done some warm-up trash, let's just get to a boss fight here. So I just kind of got Slater on the team, you know, he's got a blank weapon for the memes, but essentially Jericho's kind of like a solo carry character. We're going to use the Q here, get the final hit off. That is a very important thing as well when playing Jericho, is you just want to make sure you're always getting the final hit of that. One slightly annoying thing sometimes about playing this character is just that the auto teleport can really throw you off sometimes when you're getting used to, you know, fighting new characters. And outside of Frozen Blade, the damage is a little bit underwhelming, but as soon as she gets back to it, it also enhances the ultimate damage as well. So then, you know, she really gets the opportunity to get cooking again. But again, that's why, as I was talking about earlier, the duplicate, getting additional levels on that is so valuable, because it's going to increase the damage you deal from normal attacks and that, increase its uptime, and also after you activate it, you're going to reach that burst even faster. So yeah, she's pretty good even without it. It's just to really get like the peak Jericho experience. And she's going to be a standard banner character. So I'm hoping there are more ways to get, you know, duplicates on the Jericho, more potential. Because yeah, she's a character you really just want to have up there. But even early game without having her fully built out, you know, she still puts in work, man. She's still a very, very nice character. Right, let's go against the demon here. And as soon as we can start making contact, activate Frozen Saber. Just gonna fully complete Q. And you'd see with that opening combo, right, the bar below Red Demon, the Frost bar, just fills up so incredibly quickly. And here we've just achieved the Elemental Burst. We can just kind of like swap about here a little bit as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and dodge this and go for the swap back to Jericho. And Frozen Saber is going to be back soon. Okay, just going to go ahead. We'll clip on with the use Q. Make sure we fully channel that. Get a bit of damage output there. And there we go. Again, there's a bit of downtime while we're waiting for this to recharge again now. So it is something like during that elemental burst cycle, you know, it's up to you whether or not you think you can kill the opponent, but Red Demon here is a little bit chunky. My Jericho isn't fully built out yet, so we are still on world level 3 here. But let's go for this, get the Elemental Burst, absolutely cooking. Spamming those basic attacks. And I think we'll just go for the ultimate here. I'm just going to basically iframe this. And then let's go for the switch on Slater here just to get the stun. Slater's nunchuck spec actually has some really cool animations here. I find out that all the characters, I tend to end up taking some of the most damage when I'm playing Jericho. Playing like an absolute mad lad here. But yeah, sometimes that switch can be a blessing, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a curse. But let's fire this off. A couple more hits, and there we go. The red demon is down. We also have the option as well. I didn't use it in that fight, but having Tiore in the support spec, you can like chuck down these healing puddles as well. So yeah, this could be really nice just for like getting topped up periodically throughout the fight. All right, now I don't really recommend farming this dungeon. This is the mastery growth one, but I think it's a pretty cool place to showcase against another scenario and boss here. So let's go in and yeah, basically activate the Frozen Saber here, get the Q active, and then we are just absolutely blasting. We need to get the burst here. And then I'm also going to try just bringing in Bug. I put a weapon on him, see if we can do a little bit more. But yeah, let's use the ultimate on Jericho. And then I'm actually going to switch into Bug as soon as we've ended this, okay? Nice, we get the Corrupted Burst there. Let's use his ultimate as well and see if he's cooking. He's doing okay there, to be fair. And then at this point, we can, you know, just do a couple of switches, get back to Jericho, and her abilities are off cooldown. I think it really helps when Jericho just has another character to switch out to that could, like, take over the burst, because then it just gives her, like, that window that she needs to recharge the cooldowns. Because while you don't have Frozen Saber up, there's not a whole lot that's happening on Jericho. So just that synergy between like a Darkness character, you know, it just works tremendously well there. Or potentially as well, you know, get the Frostburst, switch to Manny, and then just kind of like cycle them back and forth there. But she's the character that just like sets up and enables so many teams. But her herself, man, you know, she's also putting in work during the way. And this is like low potential Jericho, because higher again, you just have more uptime, so you're just able to like keep that phase going for longer and just having a little bit more fun. Okay, let's go for the toe boss there. Get Q fully used. And again, sometimes it can be a little tricky. Is he gonna play Beyblade here? Okay, no, he's not. We'll have a look, because usually he likes to start spinning, just like this early on. And sometimes this kind of cycle, because when you're doing a lot of, I'd say mid-game progression especially, right, there are very long and generous timers on a lot of the bosses. And just kind of knowing when to go in and out, like that really does help. And oh my goodness, I didn't even realize she could fully freeze the Toad boss. Okay, that's super clutch. That is a completely new thing I've learned about Jericho here. Because, yeah, not all bosses can just be frozen solid like that. That is really, really cool. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't even know she could do that. She just keeps on hitting him during elemental burst. So we just got to get there and have a good time, because usually most bosses are immune to being frozen, so I just didn't expect to see that appear. But makes sense, this lad is a little bit vulnerable to it. Okay, is he gonna play Beyblade here? Not quite yet. Okay, let's just dodge out of the way of this one. Get this going. Okay, we got Beyblade. Oh, damn it. Okay, I think I'm caught in this. I can actually try and switch. See if I can stack 10 Frostbite. There we go. Perfect. Okay, this is actually so much fun to get this boss frozen. I rate that massively there. Just doing some jump dashes to get out of the way. The Toad boss, you always got to be a little careful as well not to... Just going to let that expire, and then let's go in with this. Get the value. We can push this up quite quick. And then I think I'm just going to wait for Frozen Saber to come back. This is the point where you can, like, benefit quite a bit from having additional support characters in your team, like Tiore. This one, maybe not the bear ability. That one's not super great. But, you know, you have the opportunity to kind of, like, go back, heal up a little bit, and just chill. And then we're going back in. Let's see if we can push 10 stacks. There we go. Use the ultimate here. Nice chunk of damage. And there we go. The Toad boss is down. That was very, very cool, actually, dude. I really liked that we could freeze that boss. That was actually a massive, massive W. Alright, now for our final boss in today's showcase, I thought we'd head over and just fight Banakro here. So let's give this one a little bit of a go. And just switch into Jericho, get the E active, use Q, and then he's going to immediately tail swipe. Sometimes, like, she gets super lucky and can do things in between frames. But sometimes I also need to just be better at dashing at the right time. Because, yeah, there's quite a nice, like, iframe window. If you can just get the timing right on certain things. But sometimes, again, it just makes a little bit of sense if there's no rush. If you just feel comfortable with the damage, just go back, chill for a second. And get learning the boss's abilities animations. Okay, let's see if we can freeze him. I kind of doubt we can freeze him, but yeah. Okay, so we've just hit 10 stacks and we can't. I'm going to iframe here, just so that all of the waves coming in, I'm not taking damage off. We actually got some incredible damage value there. I'm just going to get away. I don't feel like I got hit by any of those waves, but apparently I did. It's not a great time. Okay, let's just get in between these. I'm also, like, not that far off stunning him as well. Okay, let's use Q. There we go. Come on, we're very close. Almost broken that meter. Good dodge. Couple more hits. Okay, now he's gone invulnerable, and this is his last phase thing. We can quickly go to your A, just find an opportunity to track down E here, get a bit of healing. And there we go. And this is so perfect because now we can get this. Actually, if I hit him while he's stunned, can I freeze him? That works for, like, some other things. Sometimes, like the red demon. But there we go. Banakro down, gone, in the bin. So yeah, she's just a really solid carry if you want to put your attack in her for bosses. But I do think, just in comparison, out of the big three, I would say, like look, if you're free to play, you haven't been very lucky on the summons, but you've just got Jericho and you don't have anybody else to pair with, versus like that scenario with Deanna and Meliodas, I still think that it's number one is Melly, number two is Deanna, number three is Jericho. But Jericho starts to go up there significantly when you get like additional copies of this character, because she benefits so much from like more duplicates, more potential. And yeah, she can just really scale up in some pretty crazy ways. So she's a character that initially out the gate is very good. You know, she kind of does what she needs to in terms of getting you through content and bosses. But then when you get the opportunity to, you know, just get more duplicates of her in the future, that's where you can really see some ridiculous stuff. Once you can get, you know, additional damage out of that Frozen Saber, it's just bursting a lot quicker, and you also have more uptime on it. So yeah, overall, I really like Jericho, dude. I think she's an awesome character. Just by herself, you know, you kind of seen in this video, she's fine, man. Like, you don't really need to think too much about her pairings. But again, you can, if you've already built up Slater for whatever reason, just use the nunchuck version, so you can kind of swap between and get a little bit more value. And also Tiore with the fire healing spec as well, just so you can put this on the ground and You know, heal up where possible. And there are some, like, alternate things you could chuck in as well. Like, even in place of Slater, you could have, if you've pulled him, like, Hendrickson, and just get, like, you know, a little bit more healing as well, potential, and just abilities in the roster. Because, you know, you don't really do much with Slater apart from using him as kind of like a blank character to swap in there. So yeah, having like a bit more defense and healing efficiency, again, it's not the most amazing thing in the world. But it also, his passive also helps to restore like ult gauge a little bit, and then you do have more healing, emergency healing on the ultimate if you need it. So yeah, there are some options to kind of play around with super budget teams as well. Maybe like a Dredrin, Dreyfus light. You know, it depends, like whatever you're enjoying and whatever you feel like kind of suits your playstyle well. But Jericho, she's kind of a solo carry, and when you do get, you know, additional characters and stuff, you know, you've got like Manny teams that you can play about with. You can play about with the light team that is buffing up Jericho. You've also got Manny's Frost, what is it, longsword build is actually pretty cracked, dude. I was testing that earlier. So it's the kind of like get the elemental burst of Jericho, kind of ride that out a little bit. And then, you know, once you're at a point where Jericho's frozen sword is gone, then you just switch over to Manny and you just destroy things. So Manny is very, very fun, but she needs Jericho to get her into that elemental burst. These two are a pretty essential combo, I would say, if you just want to have fun playing Manny, at least in my testing. And yeah, what additional characters as well? I mean, you know, you've got like King, Elaine, those both have light builds that you can kind of pair in. So yeah, just kind of anything works with Jericho because she's such a good solo carry that everything else, yeah, doesn't matter as much, just as long as you got a character that maybe has either light or a neutral element, so that you get a bit more value if you get stuck and you have the option to do that. But most of the time with Jericho, it's just like, okay, do I have a way to get back and heal up, right? Like having that on your team is always a very, very nice time. But yeah, if this video was helpful, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much for watching. Take care. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.
You are not subscribed to the whale sin of spending? Who decided that? Subscribe now, or enjoy the bitter taste of regret.